Each week, Wells Fargo Bank brings us stories of athletes who have overcome adversity in their lives to succeed in school and in sports.
Tonight, we meet a golfer from Bellarmine back on the links after a delicate surgery.
Marissa, Bellarmine golf captain Jonathan Purcell is having a great year on the fairways. Watching John this season, you never think that just 2 years ago, the young man was fighting for his life. Jonathan Purcell is an outstanding golfer, as he's a senior captain for the Bellarmine golf team. Jonathan is a strong young man, confident, steady. But it hasn't always been this way for Purcell. At the start of his sophomore year, and after experiencing migraines for much of his life, doctors took a precautionary MRI of his head to make sure everything was normal.
And they came out partway through the MRI, said they needed me to sign some more papers, and they wanted to inject dye, so I knew something might be wrong at that point. And the next morning, his neurologist called me and asked me to come into his office by myself and not bring Jonathan. So that's when we first found out that he had a brain tumor in the cerebellum, the back of his brain.
The diagnosis was like a bomb being dropped on the Purcell family. Just a week after losing his grandmother to cancer, Jonathan was about to set out on a journey where no one knew if he would come back alive.
My parents were, I would say, in dire shock at the whole circumstance of the whole thing. I went the opposite route, and I wanted to kind of get away from it. The day that I was diagnosed, I chose just to come to the course to kind of free myself.
Jonathan's mother drove him from the doctor's office straight to his home course of Los Lagos. Worries engulfed the Purcell family. Would Jonathan ever walk again? Would he ever talk again? Would he recognize his own parents when he woke up? Or would he wake up at all? 3 months after the diagnosis, Jonathan headed to UCSF for his surgery to remove the tumor, which, as you can see in the lower left, is coincidentally the size of a golf ball. The surgery took 8 hours. Doctors cut into his neck muscles, through his skull, and into John's brain. But Purcell came out the other side. Surgery successful. Now, the long road back to recovery, golf being a huge part of that process.
Golf is what drove him to get better, what drove him to go back to school sooner so he could just try and get on with his life.
But it wasn't an easy path. John's memory was still very blurry, not remembering information from one day to the next. Purcell endured 46 physical therapy appointments where he had to learn everything all over again, including how to walk. The tumor had been in Purcell's cerebellum, which controls coordination and balance, basically the two most important golf skills. And those traits were affected immensely, but it wouldn't keep him from the course as he began to putt just a week after relearning how to walk.
Golf was also really big impact because I was able to practice every day, practice my this kind of balance, practice walking every day.
Just 2.5 months after his brain surgery, Jonathan made it back for his final 2 matches of his sophomore golf season. Now doctors say Purcell is 96 to 98% cured. A graduating senior, he'll be off to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo next year to play for the Mustangs.
And then after Cal Poly, I'm hoping to kind of make my way to Q school and onto the PGA Tour if I can. That's my dream.
2.5 years ago, some people would not have dreamed Jonathan Purcell would be where he is today. So if that's your dream, Jonathan, I'm not going to doubt you. Jonathan is about ready to graduate and says he's looking forward to playing golf at Cal Poly next year, playing golf in San Luis Obispo, Pismo, Avila Beach. That must be a tough life, I'm sure.
Yeah, very tough. And I love the look, the white belt and the white shoes. Outstanding.